This little buffoon met a woman by happenstance that was heavily pregnant at the time of meeting her. Mega mitile lo mfazi from another man. The other man of which Mega there for the whole thing. On some, I'm gonna take care of our baby, blah blah. And then he made like Houdini, disappear. Somewhere along the way in this woman's pregnancy, wanyamalela lo muntu, nowhere to be found. So now this chick was basically facing what you call this, being a parent by herself, being a single mom, right? She considered adoption. She was either a teenage pregnancy or very young pregnancy, like just into your 20s, like 19, 20, just a young pregnancy. Could have been teenage or just entry level into her teens. No, sorry, her 20s. And she did not have sufficient strength, unemployed, yet to work her first job, all of these things, ne? And so for her to be pregnant was overwhelming. Any baby daddy akona, may boyfriend proper. And it's like they were together for months. And then she felt pregnant. He then convinced her to keep the baby. And then they were excited. He moved her into his apartment and everything. And then one day he was like, I can't. This thing I'm lingani. It's like a tight jeans. I bought it in a size 32 go shopong. When I came home, it was all of a sudden ingaza every somnganga. I can't. I'm not ready to be a dad. What are you talking about? I'm pregnant. I'm not ready to be a dad. So what gapa chicken? This dude, he ran away from his baby mama. Here's this chick now pregnant out here considering adoption and all that jazz, right? Thinking maybe I'm gonna give it away. I can't be a single mom. And then somewhere along the way in this journey, as she's trudging through life all bereft about baby daddy's indiscretion, she meets this dude. Okay, buanka yena hona no. What are you washing? Messiah. He's got a God complex in the worst way. Meets a gorgeous woman that out here be giving super fertile, super cute. There are men who fetishize pregnancies. Ba attracted to basadi ba imileng heavy. Like, I don't know what that. It's a fetish. I had a friend back in the day that was pregnant, or the first one to fall pregnant out of all of us. She was just like 20 at the time of being pregnant, yellow type thing. And there was a time when we were walking at Rosebank as a scheme. I'm very heavily pregnant, this chick. You would think these dudes would be out just scanning their eyes at us that were flat stomached, right? This dude looked at this pregnant friend and he was like literally salivating. Like, you would think really 20 Rosebank attracted to the pregnant girl. That guy, the way that he ogled at my pregnant friend, we were confused on some, either this guy agaboni pregnancy, highborn out here that is being taken away by a tsunami, or he's got a fetish. There are men who fetishize the fertility of a woman, and especially when she is super young. It's like there is something in them that, I don't know, it turns them on. And this chick, or this dude that was out here ogling at this fresh, gorgeous, heavily pregnant chickie. At this dude, right? Heavily pregnant, just because you fetishize her fertility. And you love how it is that you basically walk into the room, and some women carry horribly, right? Oh, HRE will be out here because she's pregnant. Or marama or the toes di bomb, her feet bomb up, her hair, everything. Like pregnancy, I party some women proper, I but party right? Pregnancy in a certain women. Marona bang that carry it like a diva. Do you understand what I'm saying? Some women are beautifully pregnant. Pregnant until I am type thing. Just a beautiful, perfect peach glow. And this chick had a beautiful, perfect peach glow during her pregnancy. Azang akera hampi, like some females that I've seen in these streets. And this dude was attracted to that. So sometimes these men are drawn to indaba yoguti. Umuhleka khulugabi. Miti. Because some women will, like I said, overnight because she's pregnant, right? And when she bounces, like, I dark. I told it dark circles around the nose, around the eyes. I feel like you can't recognize this woman because she's pregnant. But then there are others who properly, like, where they blossom like a flower when they are pregnant. And this chick was like that. And so she was attractive. And there was this one dude at Rosebank that was out with his own, that was out here like following her on ogling. And I was like, yo, if fetish ngaga, I'm sorry, if fetish boy, because you don't know if uchatile or a baby daddy is kipani. Also, shali chere miti ngaga, or show Sure, but the responsibilities on your shoulder. Yeah, no, but some men, when they see a woman that heavily pregnant, for them it's like, one, she's fertile, and two, she carries well, and three, give Messiah. Yeah, I am little Messiah. I'm gonna rock up your rescuer, Itigen chicken out here in these streets that nobody else wants. So what did he do? Lenjale. He was already an occult junkie. Do you understand? What wahlangana ne pregnant Tigan chicken that carried really well, and this Tigan chicken that out here he was fetishizing, waba attracted to yena and started to just sit around her, like basically ugumlandele mva. I don't know whether he met her komsebenzing, whatever. She's not even komsebenzing. I could say, but this woman was just struggling. She was a young pregnancy, maybe 17 or just 20 or whatever. He starts to follow this chick around all over the show. And this chick initially made her phony because she had worries. She was concerned. Impilo yake was messed up. Baby daddy had just walked out on her. She doesn't know whether she's coming or going, and she's also considering adoption. Do you understand what I'm saying? I mean, goodness, when you're that heavily pregnant, you can't even trust anyone at that stage, because you're gonna suspect what? Fetishistic intentions. Like, a man must be a fetishizer. 8 months pregnant. You are a fetishizer. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah, so this woman was not even trying to look at this bugger. But you see, that's the thing about Moto Otwiling out of his mom's womb. Already njefela, he's busy with namatambo. Say avuma nje, apuma out of the womb. Instead of mwe, he's like, hetia, uyavumana. Already he's got dreadlocks, mama puma, out of his mama womb. Sele sangoma, flat out goat's blood and everything. So umuntu ozifundise imithi from that early abathathi lezinja no for an answer. Do you understand what I'm saying? Especially when they feeling ngathi ayisuka awubona ukuthi mina ngizokunakekela ukayintatwa thing. Hawuna baby daddy uskatlongibhora. Hawuna, you get my point, right? This dude just looked at this chick and considered her basically kind of low-key arrogant to not be interested in him, especially considering she was heavily pregnant with nobody out there in these streets trying to lay ownership to the baby. So this disinterested woman, this disinterested pregnant lady that's out here considering giving her baby away for adoption. Then, because ukopanelin jaene hetimulampepo from the mother's birth canal, yeah, then makes a decision. Uguti, uzomkhoza, ugutamtat. First of all, ngiyakshela ngiyakufuna. Angifuni, sorry, no one says no to me. Because kitule kitubampepo from the get-go, alright? And on top of that, you need a messiah. Igupi out yakon, aiko. What's your family saying to this embarrassment that you are? Oh, but that's what do you call this thing? The damage or what? Basically, baby daddy kele hlanya la 20 whatever. So oskatlong bora. But you see, the way that they say ungang bor when you don't koma them, now that they are shellering you like no man's business, it's not so much to say it in so many words. Bavele bathi kuwe shapa statue emanyan. Go go latela something. Go go latela motivation. Go go latela tswekere le pepere osi. Go go spice nyana. Hore next time a ke gutla, o feel nkare ke the one. So, wamshange korobela. Tala nguzoshaya icherry that is 7 to 8 months pregnant ka korobela. Nahan. I mean, it's bad enough this chick has got life issues. Now you are making her fall in love with you. Nyenkane. Unfortunately, this chick did not have the hedge of the Holy Spirit. Masa poloswa. This chick was not Cindy Sangwafied, right? She was not born again. So she could not resist the devil that he might flee from her. She did not have a hedge of protection. So wavele wawa like a tsunami. She just got taken by sniffy sesa otiam pepo from birth. Yeah. And just fell in love. She allowed herself to fall in love and get convinced by Tswibinkinyana ya Auti that he got this, right? Wamshela, wazang wamkoma this chick, wabuya nge meeting, a flying kick ba, yekorobel, nepega minapel. Chiki then fell in love because of manipulation, spirituality, right? Yeah. Cherry Enna is being promised mountains and earths being moved by this guy. This dude rocks up looking like I said, Messiah, right? He be out here looking like a good guy. I mean, goodness, would your parents not love a guy that finds you 7 months pregnant and is prepared to cook chata, prepared to cook begandlini? I mean, but what at this point are thinking, yo, she's a ruined woman. And here is a guy rocking up on some, I got this. Mina ngigrandi, ikamala mungu Frank Sinatra, I'm gonna do it my way. And abantu bagi babazongi tanda tande. Yeah, I had to open for my cat. We're done now. Okay, so abazali bakhe obviously bazomthanda this guy. I mean, if your daughter is a ruined woman, una 17 baby daddy akakho, from now on life is gonna be rough, girl. And on top of that, yitabazali manje, they're gonna have to raise umntana akho. We're gonna have to take her or him to school. We're going to have to buy nestam, purity, baby formula, ama diaper, yonkinto. Yeah, we're gonna be taking care of umntana akho ngoba wena you could not keep your panties on. Yeah, abazali, you're already planning, I guess, for this chick to take care of this idiot. Not idiot, sorry, of this chickie, right? The idiot is the guy. And then here comes Umunghadi Mesia Tela Moya Ohala Lelang. Herein lies this false freaking Messiah, rocking up as Okokotagabo these chickens on some. Okay, so Minangzo keep my damages because that's not my baby button. He's keep ball. Whoa, I mean, aren't you as a dad gonna wanna open a bottle of whiskey with this bugger? Aren't you as a mama gonna wanna fippa him papa ngana eka papa engwe e amhlaba mo plating le nama ekana lo ntsha khomo le mokuku kaofela slaughter to celebrate ukuthi he bandla we o bega uchama boy uze light dropped in watata indodakazi yethu that was ruined for life, and now she's set. Now manje sekasetilwe. So this chick out here falls in love with a dude ona some matli initially. Next thing, the whole family be thinking he's the best thing since sliced bread. Baga, you know who you be. Already you should be getting my goosebumps nja. Oh God, ukipil. About the details of what it is that you are, the phenomenon that you are, and also to help you guys understand ukuthi lezi nja lezi banjena bafika mona batikenze bo monghadi Messiah tela moya o halalelang batla mo ba ikenze godo. The thing they pride themselves in, because you see the devil when he was falling, when he fell, well, prior to the fall, what he said to himself was, I will exalt myself above the Most High and I will be like the stars of heaven. I will be like God. I'm basically going to be Mudimu, right? There is something very seemly to people in the occult, because they're like their daddy, the devil, about basically being God, to just rock up in the picture and fulfill the work of Jesus, the work of the Father, to just be Monghadi Messiah Zela Moya Ohala Le Labafunuguba God. They want to exalt themselves above the stars of heaven. So this messianic complex of theirs makes it such that Bafunuk Tandwa, indeed, just like God, they want to be loved like God. They want to be worshipped like God. They don't want to be questioned like God. They want to be sought after when literally nothing else gives. Like, in other words, you know how people like to use the terminology, the situation there is but for divine intervention. Divine intervention. Yeah, they want to be the divine intervention. And essentially, everything else fell apart. Won't else on the left and the right. Abai konanga this thing. It overwhelmed and eluded everybody else. But minanga figure. Ngoba me, I'm omnipotent. It's written in God's word that what is impossible with man is possible with God. These people want to make life impossible, solutions impossible to encounter or embark upon by everyone else until heavenly music playing around in the room. They put themselves in a position to be the only ones solving an impossible freaking Rubik's Cube. Bazenzu God. So lenjale yafika empilweni ya abandoned either teenage pregnancy or just 20 years old, and he became Tela Moya Ohala Le Lang, having listened to this, forced a woman that was I'm not ready, minang funuk jo like but I'm dealing with this situation like when my baby daddy why has he left me? Why is he breaking my heart? This chick is not ready to jol. Is what put her in this position in the first place. Umiti akanaskhathi sokuyojola vivye ayolala nendoda pregnant bathunga abuti ntlugele. No, this guy was like uskatlongbora ke Messiah ke monghadi ke Modimo. So I'm gonna exalt myself above I circumstance yakho, and I'm going to be your God. Uzongithatha eventually. I love you. Just like Jesus is written in his word that we love him because he loved us first. This guy's like, I love you, but you're gonna eventually love me because I loved you first. Ke God. So this Oki wa create my feelings, wa fudu wa di chicken, and this chick fell in love with him. It's usually just lust, but it is misconstrued as love. Chicken, right? Fell in love with this dude, and then this dude appeared like a Messiah in this girl's family. Bamtanda Wonkumuntu was like, hallelujah, amen. This is our our Jesus. Yeah, our Jesus. Because lo muntu ujwayele ukuba uMessiah everywhere he goes, including in the life of this woman. Manje, when you are God but you are not holy, when you are God but you are not benevolent, you're not omni-loving, yeah, I mean, of course, with those character flaws, having a heart that is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked, awuzo ba faithful, and awuzo ba omnibenevolent, truly loving. Of the person that you made promises to, you are a truce breaker. You promised Lomfazi, the sun and the moon, the world and the earth and the mountains. You promised a yonke in South Africa on a silver platter. You offered the meek shall inherit the earth and delight themselves in abundant peace. That's what it's written in the Beatitudes. Essentially, Jesus Christ says that worship me and I will give you the earth. And he's going to do that. One day we're going to rule and reign with him for 1,000 years. Yeah. But these people are like, worship me and I will give you the earth, just like Satan. But then he's unfaithful somewhere along the way. You know how the devil said to Jesus, worship me and I will give you the kingdoms of this world. The Lord literally says that also to us. Come to me, all of you who labor and are heavily laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me. For I am meek and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. The Lord gives us these promises because he knows he can fulfill them. He says, Izagi muzoplo, muzopumula. Top of that, at the end of all this striving of being with me, you will inherit earth. Yonke, all the continents. How girl. How boy. That's what Christ says, and he will ultimately fulfill that promise to us. The devil, however, tries to make like God and says to Jesus in the wilderness as he is being tested, worship me, Jesus Christ, and I will give you the kingdoms of this world. But what does Christ say? He responds by saying, thou shalt worship no other God but the one true God. Indeed, right? Because the devil was lying. So his servants are no different from their daddy, the devil, the father of lies. Now, they promise you sun, moon, earth, and oceans. But promised one octopus in the Red Sea. They will promise you everything. Do you understand? But unlike God, they cannot keep those promises. So this chick was, of course, made lofty promises. I will love you. I mean, I know that you've been dished by this deadbeat baby daddy no-brainer. Mara mina ngizokuthatha nomntana wakho ngizomenza wami, ngizomkhulisa. I will love you, just let me love you. Baby, I just don't get it. Do you enjoy being hurt? I know you smell the perfume, the makeup on his shirt. Baby, let me love you. That's this dude out just singing this chick a ballad. Ingati he is romantic or whatever, promising her the sun, the moon, and the stars. And so this chick, this 7 to 8 month pregnant chick, gives this buffoon a chance. And indeed, initially, let buffoon, just like your daddy, the devil, who promises you the sun and the moon and the earth and the wealth of this world, when you are leashed to him in your secret societies, when you sign over to him in the Illuminatis that you keep on draining across this planet of, I was initially wealth, right? Initially, he gives you the cars, the tenders, he gives you the ladies, he gives you everything you want, he gives you clout and respect. Because at some point essentially you all need to eventually get to a point where you do a cost benefit analysis and you realize the thing that it cost you to be a devil worshipper, it outweighs ama benefits. Uthole imoto, uthole zonke lezi zinto, kodwa bheka uKarabo ukuthi akanifuni kanjani, kodwa bhekani ukuthi abantu bakini enibabulele that you put in the grave bangakhi, and you are being caught up now with ama conscience enu. Yes, down the line you can't bring back usisi ombulele in a human sacrifice rituals, the human sacrifice ritual. The cost benefit ratio is imbalanced in the worst way. Over the times, in the long run, the involvement in the occult, it's a cancer that metastasizes rapidly, reaching stage 4 and 5 quickly. However, before then, asymptomatic, until their dying days are so depleted and so diminished at the end of the reign of terror as occult practitioners that ababonagali. And when people find out what they did as well, the way bazondo ngakhona by the community, the way abantu bathanda bafuna ukubakhipha vigilante ngakhona, bafuna ukubashamboka, they want to burn them, necklace them in the street, ransacking them. They want them eliminated from their societies. People eventually develop a great deal of hostility against people they come to learn are occult practitioners, and they have ways of ukuzikhipha. There are ways that cause these people to basically call themselves out. Bayazikhipha. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah, very well. So ultimately, the cost to benefit analysis that they do, it being done as late as it gets done then yields absolutely no fruit, because by the time they are in regret, in a severity of regret, too late. Essentially they are dealing with Karabo that's telling them Pumagi Mnjangi Funala Gande Kona, and is content futi no find out through the telephone ukuthi ubodile. You have passed away. Yeah, that's the cost benefit ratio. It is basically 0 to 80%. It's nothing. Ultimately, all that which you gain is like dust in your mouth. It's like you are eating kodwa awuhore. Uja dust. Boy refela lanzele bega if it's juicy. Yako restaurant. It does not matter, because the food no longer satiates, because you are eating cursed food. You are not happy. Marano. In the run-up to Kisatan Walun. So these guys, just like their daddy the devil, who give you a horrific cost to benefit ratio. Now, they promise the sun and the moon and the earth and the world to their victims. Aga you ngingu Messi mina tela moya o halalela nkina o mo ke fitileng. Nke OC. They say grab me OC, right? OC wa teng out here being given a promise by some shady Satanist. Then is told, I'll marry you, I'll take care of your baby. This chick was told, I'll marry you, ngizothokomela umntanakho, ngizomthatha as my own child, ngizokhipela amalobola, abantu bagini ngizobhadalela uma wakho indlu, ngizomyenzela ikhishi, blah blah. Whatever it is that these little messianic men do when they come into the house of a person. So he has won the favor of abazali, and he has won the favor of entire family of this chick. He has apparently rescued her from near death. He has stayed her decision of sending the kid up for adoption. So bam kiptile. And now this guy's out there raising Lomtana as his own. And that became a thing for a couple of years. Mega content to tatumfazi out of a pregnant lady, right? Yeah. So now she is his wife. This bagger, angisho use masontweni uyasonta, but however agathanda God, even in the slightest, right? Unale bophelo bo lokang honest. Haona ntho sa itholeng ka ditlhare. So, because he is unfaithful, right? Because wahlanya, this chick, from what the Lord showed me, I almost said came down with cancer, but you don't come down with cancer. You get it, you develop it, whatever, right? She's got cancer now. Unale cancer. This woman has got a disease, and she's still young, like still very young, like as an umtana corner that was born maybe 4 years old at the oldest. So somewhere along the way, this unfortunate young woman gets some kind of cancer, right? It gets diagnosed, and guess what? This little bagger, fair weather husband. Kabanga guys, you've just been diagnosed with cancer. And it's terminal, like by catching late, from what I saw, right? So she's incurable. Y'all know how a cancer fight or a cancer journey struggle how long it can take. Umuntu can have it battling it for 3 years. They can battle it for a very long time before it finally knocks them out, right? This chick out here gets diagnosed with cancer, and the doctors are like, it's not looking promising. And in the beginning of her diagnosis, this dude thought that this chick would be out of the window within a year. So he was low-key there for her, but somewhere along the way, in this sickness of this lady Chica, she just keeps pushing. We are pushing lo muntu ya strive. We are pila. The doctor said you got 6 months to live, and she's out just still around in a year. But because of and all these things, and because she's not going to linger indefinitely, obviously she's dying. This dude literally went and sat a cancer patient down. Kabang. I mean, yes, guys, anginandabanani mantota ndini that are into the occult. Halna di pelo. Lena li di chichiboya, di pelo fa makime noto mafito ki di kakatsa acha le papa esa phegwang right enang le phofo mo mahareng. E o reng ha we nata go tswa poere. Ki di pelo tsa lona mo. Halna di pelo. You are fair weather in the worst way. Here it is that this dude that promised this woman the sun, the moon, and the earth out here sits her down, from what the Lord showed me, and tells her, sisters, you've got cancer, you're dying, and I'm sorry, but I'm a man and I got needs. Imagine. Yes, like it, but he's like, I'm a man and I got needs. So, you could wait for me to die. I mean, I'm terminal. You know that I'm dying. But, I mean, you've been dying for 3 years. He literally went and told his wife, that unale cancer wa tlhokafala and I've got needs and every so often ngiyagula, so ngifuna ukuthatha umfazi wesibili that will stay right in this union. Uzosala lo mfazi lona after you have left, and habe ungumama sinomntana ulesingwana libzo la hage ke Bongane, sinobongani lana siyamkhulisa, uBongane uzodinga umama mase ungekho, and mina angizokhona ukumkhona ngi1 uBongane, so I might as well just bring in umfazi omusha now, so that akaxwayela Bongane, and so that nami as indoda ngibe nama needs, so that I don't feel the pressure and the pain so much of indaba ukuthi uyashona. Nginida umuntu ozongicomfort akenandaba at this particular juncture how this woman with cancer is feeling about this proposition. So you telling me that you want to come and bring a new mom to my son, and on top of that you are telling me that you also want to comfort yourself from my cancer by basically cheating on me and like splitting your attention onto another woman. Yazi, Lomfazi, from what the Lord showed me, because we're fully dependent on this nja, right? This dude, initially, from what the Lord showed me, this chick said no. She was like, no, I'm dying anyway. Please just be here for me. Just go, like let my last years on earth, my last days, my last months on earth be ones where it is that my husband was doting over me. Just wait, boy. You will take a wife as soon as I'm gone, but just be with me. I know this dude, because this woman is out just sekuyagula, and he feels some kind of uncomfortable way about having this conversation that's made her very sad. He then, cause lezinja ziyatagata man, yo, hana ko utlolo ya motho nang le cancer abuti. Sure, as if though the chick has not had enough. The dude then makes a decision to ukthakatha umfazi, mind control spirits, ukumthakatha ukuthi ayo-amkela i-second wife. He goes and he bewitches this Tigan chicken hore a amogele him taking a second wife. I'm on my way out. King ka perena donkey abuti. Why are you trying to parallelogram this thing? It's not like healthy. Soon I'm gonna make it a linear relationship, a series circuit instead of a parallel one, because I'm dying. It does not have to be a parallel circuit. And very soon you will be able to have just one wife. Emma, for me to die. And because he was uncomfortable with Uhesha in the life of a sick lady, what decided to uzom help her along? Nyemithi ukuthi amkele this situation or a parallel circuit ya electricity where uma ungaqima this light, this one keeps on working. Uma ungaqima this one keeps on working. But with a series circuit, akere mauqima lena, nothing works. If there's a switch in a series circuit, if you disturb the piece of this one, there's no flow of electricity going on. But in a parallel circuit, electricity keeps on flowing. It keeps on flowing. If at all you switch off this light, this dude akafuna ukumela ukuqima this light and then start a brand spanking new series circuit ufuni parallel. This dude wants ukuthi life to continue to go on as normal, enjoy conjugal rights ukansi, continue to have the life blown out in full with a wife that's perfectly functional. Otlogona ngo mo phegela amo tlhakole amo phumulela di toilet seat amo everything, and then also be there to lay down on a bed like a Nando's chicken every night. Ufuna a parallel circuit so that lo maga khohlela igazi lo uzoba khona to even maybe nurse this one when he is not able to deal nale cancer patient. Yo guys, ke tshelo ka re dipelo tsa bona ke mafito ke menoto wankutlo ha o rata satane o shwa o ikepela ka diabolose abuti o ka se bone bo inappropriate ba situation eo. Ha ona lerato la modimo gale o ntse o tsuba mpepho from the mama's womb, so of course uzophuma ngena ma sensitivities. That's what's good. I'll tiki mo batla o foster cherry ya mo hesha ka ditlhare a hesha, because that's the thing, this chick akakho born again, so akavikelwa. Holy Spirit nyamzwela ngoba akakashoni from what I see now, but she's on her way out and she don't know Christ yet. So nje eke haika lo evangelizer ngwana batho apholoswe self alo mo evangelizer hore a tlhokafala tseba modimo ore hore modimo aka mo fa motho o tlo mo fang gospel message nyana hore at least Because this chick is dying without Christ. Okay, she's passing away without Christ. Anyway, whatever. Here is the situation. Yeah, inhliziyo yamafindo ne na ilenja inhliziyo yamafindo out here bewitching ichero ukuthi embrace a second wife, and she does. She falls for it, right? She falls for this little status quo, and she's like, okay, fine, you can take me umfazi wesibili while I am basically passing away. And from what the Lord showed me, this man ulethe a second woman, ne kodwa akakamshadi, akaka, what do you call this, akakhipa malobola. He's just basically jollaring. He's testing the waters. He is seeing if this chick is going to be fit for purpose to be a second wife or umfazi omunye, because akere hona le ngwana involved, batla bona o jwang le ngwana. So basically uyajola qala, because kunjalo nje in this world, right? Uyajolwa qala, kulalwe qala, mathobalano qansi gwa o rubalana pele. Ha hona lenyalo pele, right? There's no order in the world of people that don't know Jesus. Yonke into nje fela it's confounded and discombobulated. Let's into tail before the head, all that jazz. So tail before the head is happening. They are having sex and what have you. Uthole girlfriend ngaphandle, utshelele girlfriend lena. He's been jollering with his girlfriends, right? And you're about to the situation. I've got a wife, I want to take a second one. Because my wife is passing away, and so soon you will be the only one. And the Bari ladies that are happy to embrace this rubbish, ne? He introduces them to this chicken, right? We have an introducer, and my dying wife, ne? He is okay with this. My dying wife is cool with the scenario, the circumstance. So labafazi bangene jartini, imagining that this chick is going to warmly embrace them. But you see, that's the thing about witchcraft. In a little twitches, little glitches, it's like deja vu in the Matrix. It does not fully operate. Abantu that are under spells, even if they appear to be gliding and sliding in something in them just feels ingati, man, this is not my choice, it's off. So indoda eshaya ichering ekorobela, somewhere along the way, like my ex-boyfriend unang dulang jisitse ang turisitse ka Satan. And every time I would dump him, I would inevitably reconcile. I would inevitably get back together with him. But every time after reconciling with him, I would always in my bones be like, but ang balana, I don't want to be here. Why did I take him back? There was always something in me that was like, why did I take him back? And I would have immediate regret, and we would stay together for a few weeks, a few months, and we'd break up again. And again, I'd get back together with him, and every time I would get back together with him yet again. Why am I here? So that's how the witchcraft be, like proper electric circuit shorting. Yeah, this chick's sorcery spell, yam shorta, it electric circuit shorted on her, right? It shorted on the poor thing. That's what's good. And so because it's shorted, even though she agreed to embrace second wife vibes, when these other women got introduced to her, inhliziyo yakhe may obviously saw. She didn't give them attitude. Mara, she was still like, but angifuni lento lena. Angifuni. And in the dream, I saw basically what would be the status quo of one of the women that he sent to this woman, and I was in this woman's body. I was the one that was in this woman's body. I was basically living out this life, because in real life I would not ever embrace this rubbish. Do you understand? So that could not have been me. And one of the women that this dude took over to his wife, first and foremost, the dream starts with me. We were making out and falling in love. And I knew that he wanted to marry me, and that he had another woman. And then he introduced me to this other woman. And then I go to the house, I lay down on the bed, and I start to basically say to this woman, let's make out, let's have relations in this bed. Essentially what would be the equivalent of lesbian relations. What did that represent? It represented meshing in a polygamous marriage. You know, the whole concept of soul ties. So I was about to basically accept Uglalana, this chick, in a lesbian fashion, only because I'm sleeping with her man. And I'm laying down, and I'm waiting for this woman to basically start to get ready for business, right? And this woman just looked at me. And she was like, give me a minute. I need to, gather my energies. And in the dream, I instantly developed a spirit of empathy. Like I started to feel what she was feeling. And so therefore for her. And I immediately felt voluminously ashamed of myself for being okay with coming into the household of a woman in some kind of terminal stage of cancer, taking her husband and expecting her to be good. Whoever I was essentially wore an empathy, and I became umfazi, omunye dealing nomfazi, instead of a woman out here happy to ukyochadwa ngoba kudala mina ngimele iring. Yeah. And in this burst out into empathy, I then basically, I sit up in this bed because I was all licentious, lascivious, like out here giving sexy time. I exited my sexy time energy and I sobered and I sat in a 90-degree angle on the bed. And I was like, Kodwa. I was like to this woman, Kodwa lento le, let's say this Bari's name is Jabu. I was like, Kodwa lento le Jabu ayenzayo ayikho right, like proper. I started to talk with this woman for real. And I was like, ay, lento le Jabu ayenzayo ayikho right, you are sick, uyagula. And like, I don't know what's going on, but this does not give. It's not giving. And as soon as I started to basically empathize with his wife, wakalukala, this chick, wakipa, all the emotions that she's been bottling in. And essentially, I became like a therapist to her. She was like, I know, I'm sick. I'm so sick. And he's insisting on marrying somebody else. And I took it in my stride. He managed to convince me, I don't know why he doesn't just want to wait for me to first die. And she just like broke out into tears. And I was out here embracing this lady on some, I'm sorry. I'm not gonna take him. It's okay. I'm gonna leave, right? I'm not gonna be with him. I'm not gonna allow him to do this to you through me. I'm not gonna participate in the mutiny against you. I'm not gonna participate. That scene where it is that I'm out here empathizing nomfazi wakhona, right? Then graduates over to where it is that this woman has now died. She has now passed away. Ushonil, right? And Mina, as this chick that was out here empathizing, ne? Then all of a sudden I'm like, oh goodness, okay, ushonile. And then because the wife died, and mind you, the death of Lomfazi Lona was sudden. It's like it was anticipated. Like in my dream when I was busy communicating with her, Mega Sese healthy. She looked like she still had a good few months on her left. Mega na mileage the muntu. She was not vomiting all up in my grill. She was standing up straight like kumanam. So unanale energy. And yet, within like a matter of what would be seconds in my dream, she was suddenly dead. Mega shonile all over random Sunday. So essentially what happened, so I was not shown anything between that scene and the next one that came on board, but I would imagine this chick went to Lendo Tayakon and was like, hey dude, I spoke with your wife and I tried to get at the situation, but gunzima man, I can't, no. And maybe if I'm still around, ungangishela afterwards, but I can't be out here being the sorrow of a dying woman's existence. I can't. I think maybe a conversation of that nature happened because like I said, dala bodlimpepo, dala bamba matambo, dala vuma ayetimula sinefinyana sa satani, the ancestors from his mama's womb. So because he is this like hard knock occult practitioner and akako prolific, he's not even that high level, but you know, you don't have to be a high level satanic priest to get to Lady Janes and Lady Jones on the left and on the right of you. Even amateur witchcraft works on, what do you call this? Amateur witchcraft works on people out there that have no Holy Spirit. Yeah, very well. With that being a thing, I then get, oh yeah, before even the dream and the vision, before laying on a bed looking all licentious, this dude rocked up in the room, sat down, like a stompisa cigarette, that's what I called him in the early part, right? He sat down and basically was like, Nina as abafazi kuluman, and what you come to agree on ni grand guy. Why? Because he knew ukuthi mega yenzeni in the back end. He knew he had manipulated things in the spirit realm to make Tina as abafazi to agree. So he rocked up, introduced us to each other and was like, do your thing, because mina nyazi ukuthi sengiplane ukuthi ni amkele into engiyo. Yo, guys. Fine, the whole scene unfolds with the empathy, me hugging the woman. Then something causes this woman to suddenly die. She suddenly dies. and I catch wind of indaba yokuthi ushonile. And as soon as I catch wind of indaba yokuthi ushonile, even though I don't like the progression from her being alive to her being dead was just so sudden and so immediate. I did not, however, think deeply about it in my dream. All I knew was that ushonile manje, she's gone. So because uhambile, okay, get jabu. Now we can sihambe into ikamva lonke and into the sunset and just pierce into it. I then go and I join this jabu dude. We hold hands and we out here are basically flying into the sunset in the name of Jesus. In my dream, we were now a Christian couple that was hot and feverish for the Lord. But guess who disappeared out of sight, out of mind? As soon as the mom died, ubongani. Who's bongani? Mtana. The adopted child, or the child that this dude said, basically lo mtana, of course, ubiza lo mntu lona baba, because it's all that he's ever known. The baby daddy wa Nyamalela, he made like Houdini and just poof, disappeared. So this kid has only ever known Jabu as daddy. Yeah, this kid disappeared no mawakon. Ngwana o unyametse le mme wa teng. This child disappeared, now the mom. So the mom dies, and then the kid vanishes from the scene, such that a brand spanking new life is being commenced by Ujabu. Now whoever this woman is, Karabo basically. A brand spanking new life is commenced by this Jabu dude. And I was like, manje, what happened to the child? My point exactly. Lenjale, ulahle umntwana, because umma wakhona washona. I will say this again, labantu abena nhlonipho, abena thando, abena dignity, abena virtue ngempela. Noma angasho evidencing ukuthi Grandshap, he only fetishized the fertility of this chick. He only fetishized her pregnancy. It was a fetish and never really true love. Promisile that he will take care of umntana khona. It's like dingwana hai. Jwana wena, if you are a baby daddy, ne? And mme wa teng wa tlhokafala, of course ke bana ba hao o ba tlhokomela, even though kunzima now, you're a single dad, right? Yeah. This dude basically contracted no mawa khona, such that once the mother was out the door, the kid now was orphaned. The kid now was orphaned even without a dad. This dude ulahle umntwana. So basically umntwana likely went to abazali. But this chick, the grandparents, he's not my biological child, evidencing that this dude was always just a fetishizer of the pregnancy of this woman. This woman was right to essentially ukumziba from the very get-go. And then this woman and this dude started a brand spanking new life together. When I woke up from that nightmare, I was like, ay God, what kind of rubbish is this? And God was like, that's just the thing, my daughter. Wabona mona o saying this thing. Yoksangana, this nonsense. This thing. Uyakufuna manje. Let me explain to you, Grandshap, what in the world is going on. Lenja lena, uzbiza umzalwana ngisho. However, like I said, uhlala bhema impepho, so no way. Hapho loso. Mara o rata kereke, o rata prospect ya kereke, o rata idea ya kereke, mara ha rate modimo. Ntswanyana ya tswibinki keo e qhamukela emgaqweni like a bat out of hell, and has happened upon because uthanda isonto, Christian content online. And then one day, as he was trudging through the streets of YouTube, he then traipsed into my ministry. What decided Lenja Lena in all of his interrogation while his wife out there has cancer? In his interrogation of this situation of getting a second wife while umfazi wakhona shona, wahepenisha ntsha ehobulang upon Karabo's content. He happened upon my content. Right? Here's a man. Waloya like no man's business. Utuka mullo wa Satan. Mara wipitsa mzalwane. So every so often he listens to Christian content. Oyalamsadi that has been diagnosed with cancer. He then told this woman, I want another wife while you are dying because I got needs. Selfish, greedy, baboon. Yeah. Introduced a couple of ladies to a woman that he manipulated spiritually to accept polygamy. One of these women, indeed, was empathetic towards her. And because of that empathy, from what the Lord is now telling me is the present status quo of this guy, the present one. Ufuna uku expedite ukshona komfazi wakhona. He wants to expedite the death of his wife using a human sacrifice spell. That's why in my dream she suddenly died, even though there was still a lot of time left. Lenja would not have murdered his wife if megangajahanga ukyochata, the reason why I was represented as that other woman in my dream was because now he has made a decision. Protect our girls. It's just not happening sufficiently enough. He has imagined ukuthi yimi ke that needs to go mina ngiyoba umfazi wakhona. Ngoba angisho uMesiya monghadi Mesiya sela moya o halalela urata buzalwane like no man's business. Mara asimzalwane. Lemsadi watengi, even though naye uyasonta nalenja akaphulusangwa ngoba if she was born again she would not have been taken by itsunami enjengaga. Do you understand? So this thing of njefela professing Jesus on your lips while your hearts are far from him, you're fornicating, falling pregnant, ayizonisiza ngithi nangancane ngoba nyothathwa itsunami yezinja ezibhokela esemstratini feeling ingathi they're gonna exalt themselves above the most high and be like God. I get old lawyer but so I'm just a tough stain. He thinks uguti everybody else that capitulated to usosari wake low hanging fruit, but ukarabo little bit of a tougher case. Mara ngizomkhona naye ngizomzama ngizohlala experiment ujabu wakhona loyo. So a couple of months ago, maybe weeks angazi nini, he finds my content, listens to me long enough, puts his ear to the ground to realize uguti yo, she's the rescue case, typical. She is Cinderella, this one. She's the kinda my size, give my size, eh? Baba rata di cheriba nidang rescuing. This pregnant woman, okabwe baby daddy, rescue case. They like them like little rescue dogs. They wanna bring them into the house, de-tick them, de-fly, de-worm them, de-parasite them, vaccinate them, okay? Put tags on them. Fluff up their collar, take them to the grooming parlor, chop up their hair a little bit, yeah, feed them until the dog actually be looking nice and healthy. And then you get to in a lazy eye because give the previous owner. And then when you've got visitors, you're like, oh, look at this puppy that I found on the street with a lazy eye. It was nearly dying. It was coughing up blood, but I took it to the vet. I de-ticked it. I dewormed it. etc. I saved this dog from the precipice of death because I'm into rescue animals. But instead of it being a rescue animal, a rescue puppy, it's a rescue freaking human being. Bathanda abantu abazo rescue. Hebandla we o. Do I look mina ingathi ke rescue powerful? Do I look like I haven't been rescued? Hebandla. Usomandla Jesus Christ, his name is called Savior for a reason because he's the one that actually be rescuing animals on the earth, otherwise known as deadbeat human beings, born dead in trespasses and sins, and since their parents conceive us. Us whose hearts are deceitful above all things and desperately wicked, we are the rescued animals. We the ones that cannot do anything good, no, not one. All of us have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. And then the Lord has to die for us and out here be taking us to the grooming parlor, removing ticks and vaccinating us from all different kinds of future diseases, and then feeding us until we are nice and healthy. And then the Father is like, this is your inheritance, the bride. Bragging about how it is that you rescued a pet, but this time around, and happy. Every so often manilwa. You then tell this woman, if it wasn't for me, you would not have gotten out of this. If it wasn't for me, ngithole ukhabisile indlu yakini, ufuna ukuthengisa umntana in adoption, ngithole ibaby daddy ngenandaba nawe, ngachata ungazongidelela. Type of person to highlight all the things agenzele zona, so you must just take his nonsense in your stride. Yeah. They like rescue animals. Baba rata bale jwalo. Do you understand what I'm saying? So here's this dude looking at me like I'm a freaking rescue animal, like I'm some wet dog that's about to pass away from pneumonia, and he's out here lifting me up and curing me with antibiotics and everything at the veterinarian because I am now a newfound, largely beautiful thoroughbred poodle or a thoroughbred Dalmatian. I'm a hella expensive dog. One rescuer, so you can say Pegamina like rescuile one of the baddest rescue animals in the game. It was not a mixed breed, it was just perfect, a diamond in the rough. Kodwa megangathandwa gibo bamthakatha because it was the Adams freaking family. Yeah. The perfect rescue animal. Because the first one out here came down with cancer. Because those are the kinds of people to think that a person comes down with cancer. Yeah. The first rescue animal came down with cancer. How dare it go sick on me? The glamorous life of me rescuing a woman out of nothing. Aye, Suga, I can't work that when this woman is out here dying for 3 years. When are you gonna bother exactly? Mediacon wife Agabodi finds Karabo while his wife is en route eternity. Do you understand? I still believe from what I saw in my dream right now that that woman is still alive. Maralenja Lena. I get that came and went were too shallow. Then there was one that was prepared to take this in their stride, but then got cold feet because of Umfazi, basically having empathy towards Umfaz Wakon. That dream was a combination of not just some other woman, but me too, right? There was a woman that was prepared to embrace this in their stride, but then got cold feet because the lady, made her feel sad. I, on the other hand, have got all these rules, Anish. Kimzalwani, he thinks of me as a rescue pet. Yeah. I'm a Christian. So he's like, nah, I got that down. Kimzalwan Lena. Whatever, wa lawyer. Utriani. Haumzalwani. Mara whatever. Wa foster. Okay? God, but y'all know that I got all these specifications, things that I got going down for myself, I get. And media thing, the wife. She was young. Very young. Like 18, 19, 20, maybe even 17. So I don't know how old this dude is. And I already got issues now, my Gen Z. Y'all know that all these Gen Zs that are all up in my grill trying to come up my skirt. Lang bora. When I was a kid, I had a crush on Fat Joe. When I was just in high school, this dude was like in his 30s. Yeah, it's okay as a little girl to have a crush on a geezer. Mara, if Fat Joe were to out you, ang firia, ang jela. And then me coma him because I've got a big fat crush on him. On that day, he's irresponsible like it. Yeah. So just because I've got a crush on an older guy does not mean this thing can happen. So, manje, if Fat Joe would have been the irresponsible party, Fat Joe yeah, I used to have a massive crush on him as a teenager when he was in his 30s. If Fat Joe had shot at me, even I would have considered him irresponsible. Like, yeah, even I would have, no man crashing bottom line is untate konna obuti. And just because Omohoto only a ripped six-pack at the age of 37 does not make it okay for you to be with a 16-year-old girl in high school. Noma, I irresponsible enough to have a crush on you. Very well. Well, now that the tables have turned, where it is that I am now the 40-year-old in question, with some teenage boys having a crush on me, I'm not gonna make like Emmanuel freaking Macron. Or rather, you are not going to be Emmanuel freaking Macron. The French president, as you're marrying your school teacher, you know how his wife is 25 years older than him and she met him and they met each other when he was just 15 and she was a teacher in his school on her 40. And now today the French president is married to his mama. Yeah. I'm not going to make like Emmanuel Macron's wife and see a viability in being a 15-year-old. It's just never going to happen. The person here that is irresponsible is the Dumbo that goes and fraternizes nomntwana. Because they are children. They will eventually snap out of ukusangana kwabo. Children are like that. They snap out of stuff somewhere along the way. So manje wena, when you are exploiting the season of unsnapping outable, when you are exploiting the season of crazy in a teenager's life, as a 40-year-old woman, wena setlaile, wena o tshwantseng re mo ravazeka looks of shame in the street. Uwe okwamele siyokhafulela icathulo zakho when you are walking downtown Johannesburg, because you're a pedophile. I'm not a pedophile. Just because you have a crush on me because I'm like Fat Joe now, I'm the older person that some little child in high school thinks is hot. I recognize that the responsibility lies in me to ugun reject as I'm a Gen Z. I see it, right? Because I'm responsible. I am the one here that's like the school teacher, wahuba hot, wahuba sexy, that has some little child spazzing over her. Mara, just because you are a student in my class, I am going to tell you, please stop breathing down my neck when I'm marking your paper because you're flirting with me as a teacher. It's inappropriate. Go report, go officing. Ho only busy on send the sexual innuendo on pea shooting. Little love letters. I'm going to report them to the principal's office because literally the burden of proof lies on the older person in the room. Gen Z na 40. Kitla 26. Leban, you might as well be in diapers. I'm not gonna do it. In the company of a man that's only going to pop his first wrinkle in the next 20 years. I'm not doing it. Kodwa ngiyaphesuka mina ngama Gen Z, so I don't know if lo muntu ona yikhehla elijole ne 17-year-old pregnant girl or a 20-year-old pregnant girl that allowed herself to marry some 40-year-old dude because mengmithi ngizoyenzani ngizoyithatha ikhehla lami. Or if lo muntu lona is just 24, 25, just like the wife, and feels ingathi mina because I look 24, 25, kitloba fat Joe mara the irresponsible version otlojolang le ngwana wa ko high school. I don't know what's going on. Mara haeba no Gen Z, you've got a double whammy. In that angfuna ma Gen Z, angfuna bantwana. I don't want a person that is younger than, wait again, I don't want a man that's younger than me. But I would accommodate a dude that's perhaps 36, not 36, 37, 38. Basically 2 years, no more than that, younger than me. And even that is, that leg room or that concession, I only made it because I'm so old now. But back in the day, men younger because men, they mature so slow in comparison to women that it's detrimental when you are to be accommodating a younger man because you don't know what in the world you're getting into. It's bad enough having a man 10 years older than you and yet he's still acting like a baby. So manje when you're gonna go Yolanda umuntu nje that's still with wet behind his ears, uzojola naye that's younger than you, you're setting yourself up for failure as a woman. Especially in this 2024. Look, I don't doubt that there are men who are mature beyond their years, but largely the grand majority of them are 4 years junior in how they develop out here in these streets and how they think about the world in comparison to women their exact age. So it's just detrimental for a woman to, largely you are putting yourself in hot water as a woman when you date a younger guy. Largely. Not all the time. There are some very mature young men out there, but they are the exception and not the norm. So I give out the younger men for that reason, because already men are just a lot less mature than women at the exact same age. I want an older guy. But because I am the age that I am, I've made leg room for 2 years maximum younger than me. So I would draw with an 86 guy, a dude that is 2 years younger than me. Maraus katon boraga beyond that. So I'm gonna say if this oki, una 38 up. And so that's why I had Shagangaga.